I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Tuesday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
Our 50-50 jackpot is wrapping up on Friday, and people have been asking us to do a final challenge, so we settled on an idea for that.
We didn't have a plan this morning, but we ended up with one that I think you're going to like.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We love boobs, yes we do. We love boobs, how about you? We love boobs and we need your help to help us raise some money.
All right, everyone's saying we should do a final challenge here in the last week of the BCC 50-50, so we've been looking for some suggestions. And here's what the text line says so far. They say that I get a vasectomy.
Yeah, I like
a
that.
certain amount.
I like that one.
I don't know about that one. Someone said paper cut between your fingers and toes.
That one's just torture, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
A few people saying the 40-year-old virgin wax job thing.
That one, that one's worse for me than it is for you, but that is a classic.
Shaved head, shaved beard. We shaved your beard before. I've shaved my head for other charity stuff.
I think we're done with, like, shaving, hair dyeing, all that stuff. Like anything on the head, like we've done all of that stuff, and we're at a different level. We've done that stuff for like 10 grand. We're talking about 200 at this
Same
point.
thing with the dyed hair. A lot of people are saying dye the hair and beard pink. We dyed your beard pink before, and I've just dyed my hair for fun, so that doesn't really bug me, I guess.
Even our friend Greg just dyed his chest hair for this very cause.
Yeah,
so, you know, like we're kind of moving beyond the dye.
Someone did suggest that we are tarred and feathered with honey and Cheetos.
Oh, okay. That would suck. That's not coming out anytime soon.
Yeah, that one could. I could be on board for that.
And because you would have to do it like you can't do it on your clothes, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to do it on your skin.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so hairy. Oh, that would be so bad.
So, you know what? I like that as an option.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of people texting in tattoos, which I know we said we'd never do tattoos again since I got the butt nugget, but people have suggested that maybe we get each of our names tattooed on each other.
Like I get Brock and you get Dalby.
Or I like this one that came in. Someone said you get ankle bone tattoos to look like nipples.
On like where the bump is on the side of your ankle?
Yeah, it says one for each of you, so if we stand side by side together, it's a pair.
We're a set?
Yeah. I kind of like that one. Booby tattoos on the ankle?
That's really funny.
Because A, it's silly, and B, that'll hurt like a female dog.
That's gonna suck. Because you can't just do a dot, right? Because that's not good enough.
No.
You have to do like the outline. There's going to be some shading, and it's all on the bone.
I'm sure our friend Will would be able to figure out a good way to do a solid booby.
Almost certainly.
So I'm going to put it out here to the people. Tarred and feathered with honey and Cheetos, or should we get the nipple tattoo on our ankles?
Right. And what's it worth? Because the jackpot is at 100. Well, let's see here. I haven't updated. 133,585. Oh, sorry. 33,735.
Okay.
So, like, I feel like it's already going to grow because this is the last week. We do the draw on Friday. So people are saying, like, oh, for 150. Guys, this is going to hit 150 by tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know what the number is.
Do we say 2?
We say 200?
200,000 for a ankle bone tattoo or a full tar and feathering?
I think we could get to 200,000 by the end of the week.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The people have spoken.
Did they ever?
And they want the nipple tattoo.
The nipple ankle tattoo. And so here's the thing, because I was just thinking it would just be like a dot on that bump on your ankle with a little like breast outline, maybe some underboob shading or whatever. You Googled this. And this is a thing people do. I forgot that, like, it would probably be like a realistic looking nipple.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk to Will and see what he can do. But when I Googled nipple ankle tattoo, it looks so gnarly. All right.
Oh, man.
So,
I wear ankle socks too.
We've figured out the challenge. What is the price that we set it at right now? Because the jackpot is at $133,735 right now. Deadline is Friday at 8 a.m.
Right.
What do you think the jackpot should be at to get the tattoo? I'll leave it up to you.
It would be Tuesday to Wednesday, Wednesday to Thursday, Thursday to Friday. 72 hours from pretty much right now. How far do we think we can go? Now, again, I think it's a 50-50. These things tend to build on themselves. Someone's already going to win over $67,000 based on where the jackpot is now.
Sure.
So that'll attract people. So I don't want to set it too low. Am I crazy to think that we can get to $200,000 by the end of the week?
I think it's possible.
Is that nuts to think that $200,000, meaning someone wins $100,000, we donate $100,000 to Breast Cancer Canada,
And then we put some nipples on our ankles?
and then you and I get a matching set of nips on our ankles? I don't think it's unreasonable.
The worst part is I wear a lot of pants that come above my ankles, so they're always going to be cold.
Oh, man, short season in the summertime. And like I said, I'm all about the ankle socks these days.
Yeah.
I'm going to have my nips out on display.
All right, let's shake on it. All right.
Shaking. Firm handshakes.
$200,000 by Friday at 8 a.m., and we will get nipple tattoos on our ankle.
That's right. What just happened?
I don't know, man.
This was not the plan.
I don't know. I wasn't
the
thinking
show
about
this
it when I
morning.
woke up this morning.
I just woke up thinking we were going to come in here and ask businesses to buy tickets to challenge one another.
Courtney's going to be so mad at me because she said, don't ever get another tattoo for work again since I got the butt nugget.
Butt nugget? Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait to go home and talk to Mallory and be like, hey, by the way, might be getting a tattoo next week.
All right, here's the thing. You guys need to get that jackpot up if you want the nipple tattoos, and you know how to do it. Text the word to 762-555. We will only do it if we get to what number, Dalby?
$200,000.
I mean, we raised $60,000 for the bull testicle in like 4 days, so
Right.
I don't think it's that far-fetched of an idea.
And again, a lot of people are texting in, getting the keyword, thank you, the link, all that stuff. There are also people texting in saying this is awesome. I've seen a couple texts that have come in that say 200 is too high. Again, think of the prize. Someone can win $100,000 if you buy tickets for this.
All right. That's it. It's set in stone right now. Nipple tattoos on the ankle, on the bone of the ankle.
Breast tattoos on the ankles.
The ankle boob, if you will.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Courtney and I finally got a second vehicle last night.
Well done. Very exciting news.
And I'm looking for suggestions on what we should name it. It's a 2007 Ford Focus. I know. I don't mean to brag or anything.
Yeah, big spender over here.
And we're trying to figure out a good name for it because the Chevy Trax, we call that one Terry
Terry Trax?
because of Man Tracker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was trying to think of something fitting for the Focus. Like, it is a Ford Focus SE, so I was trying to think of like SE initial names. Sam Elliott doesn't seem fitting. Steve Earle doesn't seem like it works either.
Well, am I mistaken? Is it not a silver vehicle?
It is.
I mean, that kind of helps towards Sam Elliott a little bit.
I guess the Silver Fox, yeah.
And you could get one of those big dumb car mustaches to put on the front bumper.
And the older it gets, maybe the more it starts to sound like him.
That's right. I mean, more and more. I think that one's not too terrible.
Courtney was more leaning towards the idea of because it's a Focus, she was like, it should be like a teacher name.
Oh, okay.
So she was like, what if we called it Mr. Feeney?
Oh, Boy Meets
Boy
World.
Meets World. And then I was trying to think of like, what are some other famous teachers, like Schneebly from School of Rock?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's that, Mr. D?
Mr.
Jerry D?
Yeah. I was thinking we could call her Veronica because of Veronica Vaughn from Billy Madison.
Oh, I heard she's, anyway. Are you looking for like a person name for your vehicle, or can it be named after other things?
I guess anything, really. Those are just the rough ideas we had.
Because the first thing, I'm not going to lie, the first thing that came to my mind when you said you got a Ford Focus was call it Adderall.
You could call it Addison.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, that's a little bit more.
It's either that or we name it Vance for Vyvanse.
There you go. Yeah. Lynn for Ritalin.
We're onto something here.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
What if I run through the list and you try and help these people name their cars?
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's try it.
So like somebody here, Ted texted in and said, I drive a Bronco.
Oh, that's easy. That's Juice. Either that or OJ. Like, that's the first thing that comes to mind when you see a Ford Bronco.
Something from the chase scene.
Yeah.
Someone else here. A couple people drive, I think it's a Ford Escape.
Oh, Michael.
Michael?
Because of Michael Schofield from Prison Break.
Oh, that's good.
Escape, yeah.
I got a few Dodge Chargers on the list here.
LaDainian.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
That's the most famous Charger I know.
I think you probably just go down to LT on that one if you want to say LaDainian every time. The Santa Fe is another one.
The Santa Fe, was that Hyundai?
Yeah.
Ranch. Because that's the best dip at Boston Pizza for the Bandera bread.
You know, my wife used to have one of these, and I'll tell you the name that she came up with it, but Dodge Journey.
Steve Perry.
That was it.
That was it? Yeah.
That's great. That's a perfect name.
That's the perfect name for that car. Steve or Perry.
Yeah. Something to do with that. Honda Civic.
I think you go Vic or Victoria, and not just because of the civic part, because it is a civic holiday.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What about a Crown Vic?
Oh, that's the Queen, baby.
That's the Queen.
That's the Queen.
I think if one of my friends pulls up in a Crown Vic and goes, just took out the Queen for a spin, I would be like, I would roll my eyes.
I would be driving that car around and doing that subtle wave. Yeah, all the time.
Another one here. Let's see. Chevy Colorado. Someone texted me.
I'm going to go with hockey here. You got to go with Joe, Peter, or Patrick.
Oh, okay.
Sakic,
Yeah.
Forsberg, or Patrick Waugh.
Or just call it the Boulder.
Yeah.
Dodge Caravan.
Dodge Caravan. I'm trying to think because it's like a soccer mom car, right?
Oh, for sure it is, yeah.
Let me think of my favorite mom. Lisa Ann.
Lisa Ann.
Lisa Ann.
Okay. And you know what? Here, let's see if you can have some fun with this one. Last one on the list. A Hellcat.
Oh, someone's got some money. Mm-hmm. Hellcat? Oh, you got to go Garfield on that one.
Garfield the Hellcat?
Name me a more famous cat, man. Plus, you got to think that cat put John through hell.
That's true.
Not only with the shenanigans, but the vet bills as well.
I love the idea of spending the money on a Hellcat, but getting it painted orange with black stripes.
And all you do is eat lasagna in it.
The interior is a mess.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I was curious, in previous years, you've kind of lamented that there are not as many houses decorating for Halloween as in the past. I find my neighborhood is kind of going all out this year.
Yeah?
Do you find the same in your neighborhood?
Not really. I mean, it's like us and a couple of people, and that's it.
I have honestly been in awe as I drive around the neighborhood, picking up the kids from school, whatnot. I'm seeing more and more houses that I don't remember seeing decorations at, starting to put, they've got the inflatables. They've got, what's big this year? The big spider webs you put off the corner of your eaves.
Oh, okay.
Down onto the lawn. So many of those in my neighborhood.
I will say, nobody looks spooky, though.
You are probably right about that.
Because the whole point of decorating your houses is supposed to be scary, right?
Right. It is a lot of cutesy, lit up, even the scary clowns have fun facial expressions.
Nothing
that sort of
scary
thing.
anymore. Yeah.
You know what I think might be the least spooky Halloween decoration trend that I'm seeing? Have you seen Halloween trees?
No.
Yeah, it's like a Christmas tree. And I'm not talking about because people will do that, right? They're outside trees. They'll put cobwebs and things in there.
Sure, yeah.
Not like that. A Christmas tree style fake tree set up by the window with orange lights and pumpkin ornaments and things like that hanging off
That's
of it.
just people getting ahead of themselves and getting their Christmas tree ready a month early in advance.
And so I saw one in a window in my neighborhood, and it made me look into is this a thing, or did these people just come up with a good use for their tree?
Because I was going to say, there's people that already have their Christmas lights out. They've just put orange and purple ones.
That's
or
right.
whatever outside. Yeah.
I saw it. You can go online, and people are either using their fake Christmas trees for this, which it's recycling. I guess I get that. But you can also buy, I'm looking at one on Amazon right now. It is a bright purple tree with pumpkins and lights built into it. And it is only meant for Halloween. You cannot use this for Christmas. I mean, you would never put out a purple tree at Christmas time.
Yeah, don't tell my girlfriend about this because she'd instantly buy one of those things.
I just love the idea of like having the back wall of your shed just a bunch of different fake trees. Like you've got your Christmas tree, now you've got your Halloween tree. Do you get like an Easter tree? It's got like pink branches. You can hang little egg ornaments off of it and stuff like that.
I mean, the whole point of the Christmas tree is to put Christmas presents under it. What do you put under the Halloween tree?
Maybe that's where you dump all your candy after you go trick-or-treating. You just, instead of having the tree skirt, it's just a mountain of Kit Kats and coffee crisps
as
and
they
candy
melt
corn.
into the carpet.
Okay, maybe you found a flaw in my plan.
I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Brock and Dalby podcast.
The Brock and Dalby podcast.
It is crazy, though, how the Prince of Darkness went from being hated and protested by parents like 40 years ago to almost becoming like this lovable old guy nowadays.
He's everybody's uncle now.
Yeah.
Like, you're just so happy when he pops up on TV because you're like, oh, look at him up there just doing stuff.
He was considered a promoter of Satan many moons ago. Not that long ago, actually. I mean, if you think about it, if a radio station like 40 years ago was doing an Ozzy Osbourne week, there'd be people outside with like picket fence signs and everything.
Oh, absolutely. Trying to bring us down. You're promoting evil. This is an affront to God. All these things.
I'm curious. There's probably people listening right now that it's like you grew up and your parents wouldn't let you listen to Ozzy Osbourne.
Right, you had to sneak Ozzy records. Like, you'd have them out behind the shed, or like you'd go to your friend's house who had like quote-unquote cool parents, and you'd get to listen to all the old albums.
762-555, what is some music that you loved growing up but your parents absolutely hated? Because it's like there's a lot of these bands. I mean, your Twisted Sister, your Judas Priest, they were all considered these satanic bands, but they're honored and praised now. And then when you show your kids the music, they're like, that's not that bad.
Dude, you know what's a weird one for me, especially this past couple weeks? When I was in high school listening to Eminem CDs in my room and my mom would hear the lyrics or the content.
Every parent hated Eminem.
Would freak out. What are you listening to? Fast forward to last week and here's Eminem and Barack Obama shaking hands and talking about the future
He's
of
on
America.
Fortnite and everything. I mean, Marilyn Manson was the same thing. My mom like sat me down and was like, what's going on here? Like,
right. Do we need to talk about the decisions you're making?
Let alone all the music I got into. My parents thought I was messed up. My dad, too, would always be like, all these guys are just into drugs and drinking. I was like, buddy, you listen to Johnny Cash.
That man was all about drugs.
I was like, slow your roll. You listen to Johnny Cash and the Beatles. That's all they were about.
The Brock and Dalby podcast.
What are some bands or artists your parents didn't let you listen to and why? We've got Chris on the phone. What's your story, man?
Okay, so rewind to 1993. Snoop drops Doggy Style. Everybody wants it. I try and go buy it. You can't because you have to be like 18 or 16.
Oh, it had the
I
parental
wasn't at the
advisory
time.
on there.
Parental advisory. So you had to bring your parents with you to the record store. Like they wouldn't just let you buy it. So my mom wouldn't come with me. She wouldn't let me have that record. She heard about the record. It was in the news. I wasn't getting that record. So, legit, fast forward to, last week, I call my mom. I'm like, what are you up to? And she's like, oh, I'm just watching TV. I'm watching this cooking show. I'm like, oh, yeah, what are they doing? Oh, it's Snoop and Martha. And I'm like, Snoop Dogg? And she's like, yeah, I love Snoop. You know, he's so funny. And I'm like, you remember in 93 when you wouldn't let me have that album, right? And the confused look on her face, right? So.
It's
yeah,
crazy how you probably don't care about Snoop
Dogg
Dogg as much now, but your mom likes him more than you do.
Yeah, exactly. Now he's he's just Uncle Snoop.
Well, it's funny because that's when you flip the script on her and be like, Mom, I don't like you watching these shows with this hardened criminal.
I know.
You're
I
talking
thought
about
of it
Martha
after
Stewart.
you guys were talking about it. I'm like, I totally should have done that. I totally should have went how she was in 93 on me.
Oh, that's an awesome story. Thanks for sharing, Chris.
All right, boys, take it easy.
Yeah, you too, man. You too. Yeah, Snoop Dogg is like a national treasure now.
Honestly, like when he was doing stuff at the Olympics, there were posts online that were like, we must protect Snoop Dogg at all costs. And that was not the same sentiment that was like the widespread thought when he sort of burst onto the scene. A lot of parents were like, oh, this hooligan.
Yeah, he was on trial for murder at one point, right?
That's right. I always forget about that.
Now he's family friendly.
Yeah. Ashley also texted in another one from the rap world, DMX. A lot of parents did not like the
Sure.
He just sounded like really aggressive.
Even another guy that's kind of made like a bounce back, I guess you could say, is like Flava Flav. Like,
kind of, yeah.
He's kind of become like a little bit family friendly.
He's gone the same way as Ozzy, where now you're just like, he's so silly and goofy that you're just like, I'm just happy you're still with us, man. You see him on TV and you're like, still kicking. Good for him.
Yeah, even like, Fred Durst has made a huge turnaround. Everyone thought he was a complete douche for the longest time.
Right, yeah. Limp Bizkit got famous, and then people sort of started to find ways to hate on him, the hat and the angst and all that stuff. But then when they made their comeback and he started coming out just as like old man
He's got
Fred
good
Durst,
vibes now, yeah.
people are just like, okay, cool. I'm on board for this.
He's not so bad. Now, Nickelback, do you think Nickelback will ever get to that Snoop Dogg status?
I don't think, see, and again, you say Nickelback, we're really talking about Chad Kroeger.
100%.
I don't think Chad has turned the corner yet. I think that Nickelback went through the same thing. Got famous, then people started to hate on them. He had that kind of smug attitude to him. Now he's just kind of quiet. I think if he plays it right and just waits for a few years and then comes back is kind of like, pick your spots. Come in, be funny, do something fun, interesting.
You just got to get rid of the frosted tips.
That cannot come back. The noodle hair and the frosted tips have to go forever, but I think he can make that turn, maybe not to the Snoop level, but he could get there.
I would love a Chad Kroeger and Marilyn Dennis cooking show.
I watch that every day.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Big moment for people who are fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Remember that show WandaVision? It was like their first sort of TV show after all the movies.
Yeah.
Well, they did a spin-off of that, staying with sort of the witch vibe that's been blowing up. It's been getting a lot of attention lately. It's called Agatha All Along, and it features Kathryn Hahn, who is from Step Brothers.
Yeah. She's the lady who lifts her leg and pees at the urinal.
I was like, I need a way to relate this to Brock, because I know you haven't seen this show, but she's from Step Brothers. Yeah. She has made history, as was pointed out on the Jennifer Hudson show this week, as being the first naked female butt in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, are they showing nudity in these movies now?
Kind of. So again, in like the first episode of this show, her character has a bit of like a crazy mental break and runs out of the house without stopping to put clothes on. And they do the whole, like, her hair is covering her chest and she's standing by a hedge and all these other things.
But the booty's popping out.
Well, at the very end, she, like, storms out of the scene and she turns around and there it is in all its, cakiness, her full bare ass on TV. And yeah, they looked back at it. There has been a few instances in these Marvel movies where, like, what's his name? Thor. Chris Hemsworth has had bare ass so far.
Oh, yeah, he showed some skin.
They have the CGI bare ass on the Hulk in one movie, but she is the first female to show that much skin in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, a round of applause to Disney for letting the booty fly free, I guess.
It is always weird to remember that, like, Disney is behind Marvel now.
Yeah.
Like, you see all these things. You see, like, nudity, or you see, like, the Deadpool movies with all these people getting shot, stabbed, sliced in half and all these things, and then you see the Disney logo at the end of the movie. You're like, that feels weird and wrong.
Also, I mean, they've got the sexiest people on Earth in these movies.
Right?
They should be showing a little skin. Give us a little something.
You think about it. The Marvel Cinematic Universe took away fat Chris Pratt and gave us jacked Chris Pratt. Of course they're going to show a little bit of skin at some point.
They should. It's their due diligence.
Now, here's my question, because I know, like, you will watch a superhero movie. They're not your favorite.
Yeah.
When they start doing things like with the Deadpool movies, they've brought in a little bit more of the violence, and with this now they're starting to bring in a little bit more.
Are you going to ask me will I watch more superhero movies if I know there's going to be nudity?
Yeah, honestly, basically that's the question. Is like, as they give these movies more of an edge, does it bring you in, or are you still kind of like, they're silly?
If I was in the 8th grade, 100%. Because remember when you were a kid and someone was like, oh man, there's this hot naked scene in whatever movie. I mean, all of us watched Titanic as boys. If you were like in the 90s, early 2000s, you had a sleepover, watch Titanic with your friends just to see the nude scene.
If you were of a certain age and you watched it on VHS, there was one part of the tape that was a little more well-worn than the rest of that 3-hour massive VHS
There
tape.
are certain movies that I know exactly still to this day where to pause.
There used to be websites that made money. People would make
100%.
a living listing where and when people would get naked in different movies and shows.
That's the plot of Seth Rogen and his friends like Jobs. They were making a whole website in that Knocked Up movie.
That's right. The whole plot is them coming up with that.
And I guarantee you there's a whole group of like comic book nerds that would be super stoked on seeing some more booty and flesh in these movies.
The Brock and Dalby podcast is brought to you by the Brock and Dalby 50/50 raffle in support of Breast Cancer Canada.
Buy your ticket today at bcc5050.ca or click the link in the podcast description.
I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.